Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. I thought it might be fun if we went and took a look at the 9 new dwarves that got put into the game. Before I get started, I do want to mention I was digging around my back office recently in YouTube, and I saw that 94% of the people that view my videos are not subscribed to my channel, and it occurred to me I don't do a very good job of telling you guys to like and subscribe and do all those things. So I realize it may be slipping a lot of people's minds. It doesn't occur to a lot of people. So if you like what I'm doing on the channel, you like my videos, and you want to support the channel, there really is no better and easier way to do it than hitting the subscribe button. And then if you want to, you can turn on notifications if you want to know every time I upload a video. But I figured I would mention it just because that seems like an awfully high number of people viewing videos that are not subscribed. So again, if you like what I'm doing and you want to support the channel, subscribe button is there. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. First, we're going to look at Tunnel Stewart. He's a new uncommon dwarf, and he's pretty cool looking, I reckon. Pretty cool looking. 95 base speed, that's okay. Defense is nice, especially for an attack champ. For an uncommon attack champ, 900 defense is not bad. 1255 on attack, that's okay. I think there are some rare attackers that have that. And then his HP is a little on the low side, but again, he's an uncommon, so what are you going to do? First skill, attacks one enemy, 25% chance of placing a poison debuff. First skill, poison, maybe some early game clan boss potential there. And attacks one enemy has 50% chance of increasing the duration of 2 random debuffs on the target by 1 turn. And if you skill him up, that's down to a 3-turn cooldown. So that's actually not bad. That's not a bad little kit. He does have some early clan boss utility, I think. And debuff extension in general can be very helpful. So, you know, he can prolong the amount of time that those poisons stay up on the clan boss. And you can kind of squeeze more damage out of the poisons that he and the rest of the team are putting up. So pretty cool little kit. There's not a ton to talk about because he is an uncommon and he has he has only 2 skills, but they're 2 good skills. And again, this is only on a 3-turn cooldown, so that's once you skill him up, that's pretty cool actually. I kind of dig that. Pretty nice little addition to the game there. And then the other uncommon we have is chemist. All right, okay, I dig it. I don't know how I feel about the hair there, but you know, it is what it is. Man, BlueStacks, I know I keep saying this, but I think I'm gonna have to start using Nox for these videos. BlueStacks is just really being laggy lately. Okay, let's look at his stats first. Speed 104. That's a really good base speed. That's a really good base speed. Now he's an attack champ, and his attack is 1046. That seems low. His HP is nice, but he's an attack champ, so I'm not real sure what the purpose of that is. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Attacks one enemy has a 15% chance of placing a stun debuff. This chance increases to 30% if the target's HP is below 50%. Okay. You know, I mean, he's an uncommon. I don't think there's a ton going on there. Second turn stun, it could be kind of helpful, but I feel like there's probably some better options that do better things. Better things in addition to a second turn stun, and his stats are not that great. You're not going to get much out of those stats beyond easily getting first turn. Maybe if you geared him for a lot of speed, but yeah. Painsmith is a void rare. He looks really cool actually. Yeah, he looks pretty dope. This lagging stuff is getting really old. BlueStacks, you got to figure it out. Anyway, he's an attack champ. Speed is 100. Attack is decent enough. But as we said, the Tunnel Steward's base attack was 1255. So pretty good base attack on that little uncommon. And then his base HP is really nice. So neat, nice base stats here. Nice base stats. He's got a 21% dungeon attack lead. First skill, just a standard attack. Nothing much going on there. Second skill, attacks one enemy. Enemies killed by the skill cannot be revived. Places a block debuff on this champion for 2 turns if this attack kills an enemy. So here we've got some Ice Golem utility. That can get down to a 3-turn cooldown. That's pretty cool. So not only does he block revive, if he gets the kill and lands the block revive, he's going to... If he gets the kill, it will block revive, I should say. And then he puts a block debuffs on himself for 2 turns, which is going to be pretty helpful in Ice Golem. So... pretty cool. It's nice that we're getting more block revives in here because Ice Golem just feels like such a problem. And The only real viable solutions for it are legendaries. So it's nice that we're getting a little more of that spread around to get some utility out of some other parts of the game rather than just legendaries. But his last skill attacks one enemy, damage increases by 15% if the target has no active buffs. Okay, that's pretty cool. So yeah, I think he's got some utility in Ice Golem. Anybody with a block revive is useful. He's got good enough base attack that you'll be able to scale his damage up, and he's got solid enough high base HP for a rare attacker that you know, I think it'll be easier to make him a little bit tankier and give him some utility even in the higher levels of Ice Golem. I don't know that he's a part of an Ice Golem 20 team, but I mean it could happen with good enough artifacts. It's possible, you know, and he, like I said, block revive, he automatically has a little bit of utility there, so pretty cool little champ. He is a void, however, so he's not going to be super common for people to have, but he is there. Let's see, who do we have next? We have Madman, he's new. The hair is, I'm digging the hair. That half pipe hair setup. Pretty cool. Base speed, 99, fine. So far, I think it's been all attack champs. Base defense is what you'd expect out of an attack champ. 1343 on the base attack. That's pretty substantial. And then his base HP is also over 14,000. So good base stats. Good base stats on this guy. Attacks one enemy. Has a 50% chance of attacking all other enemies with a second hit. Dealing 30% of the damage inflicted from the first hit. That's a lot to take in. So he hits one enemy. Has a 50% chance of hitting everybody after that with doing 30% of the damage he did on this skill. So pretty cool little skill. Nothing wrong with that. Second skill is an AoE. Heals this champion by 10% of the damage inflicted if his health is below 50%. So that can be pretty handy. I'm seeing some utility in spider here because this is a potential AoE. This is potential AoE every time he attacks the boss, even if he's on cooldown, so that's nice. Here, we have an AoE, and he's going to heal himself by 10% of the damage he inflicts. Now, if there are a lot of minions up and he AoEs everybody, that's probably going to full heal him. 10% of the damage he does is probably going to full heal him. So that's pretty handy. I'm seeing some spider usage here. Attacks one enemy, will ignore 30% of the target's defense, ignores block damage, and shield buffs. Okay. So this is nice, and it's a third skill, which means the multiplier on it is probably going to be pretty solid. And so that's going to be nice for the spider boss, some decent burst damage there. It's going to be nice in the Magic Keep, where Magic Keep puts that shield on herself. You get to just slice right through that. That's going to be pretty handy. And then if you wanted to try to take him into arena and use him there, you know, when you come into the Raj cards and things of that nature, you know, the block damage buffs getting put up, you could try to slice through those. It's going to really depend on what the multiplier is here, but ignoring 30% of the defense is nice. His base attack is really nice. So if you gear him up, if you work his masteries in a way to potentially ignore more defense or equip him with some sets, some artifact sets that let him ignore defense, you can knock out a big chunk of whatever the enemy's defense is and slice right through it and probably get a one-shot kill even through block damage. So this could be a pretty decent rush card counter, depending on what artifacts you set on him, how you do his masteries and things of that. But his stats are not that hard to scale. So pretty cool little champ, actually. I think I would be excited to get this dude. I would put him to use. When I pull this guy, I think I'm definitely going to put him to use. I'm going to try to use him in spiders and Magic Keep, and then play around with him a bit in Arena. I think that might be kind of fun. So, yeah, I dig him. Let's move on to the next champ. All right, we're back. I had to do a quick restart because the lagging in the game was driving me absolutely insane. So we're back at it now, and things should be running smoothly. So let's continue with stoutaxman. I really like his skin. I think that is really cool. That is a really cool setup he's got going on there. I really dig that. He's an HP champ. 94 speed, little on the low side, but not a huge deal. 892 defense, that's okay. Attacks, whatever, he's an HP champ. And then his HP is 19,155. That is really, excuse me, really good. Really good base HP on a rare champ. So let's take a look at his kit and see what he's got going on. We have just a regular attack that scales on attack, so whatever, not going to get much out of that first skill. Second skill, places a 15% reflect damage buff on this champion for 2 turns. Has an 85% chance of placing a 15% reflect damage buff on a random ally for 2 turns. Also has a 35% chance of placing a provoke debuff on 2 random enemies for 1 turn. Okay, so a little bit to unpack here. Skilled up, that 85% chance becomes a 100% chance. So we're just going to talk about it as though he's skilled up. He puts a 15% reflect damage buff on himself and a random ally for 2 turns. He has a 35% chance of placing a 50% chance of placing a provoke debuff on 2 random enemies for 1 turn. Okay, so he's going to reflect damage on himself and an ally, and then potentially provoke 2 enemies to hit him, which he'll almost certainly be able to tank and reflect damage back at them. Cool skill, a lot going on, a lot going on in that skill, but it is a cool skill. I like the dynamic. And then he's got a passive. Heals this champion by 50% of the damage taken while under a reflect damage buff. Also has a 25% chance of increasing the duration of all attackers' debuffs by 1 turn when hit while under a reflect damage buff. Okay, now we're talking about some interesting stuff here, because that would include that provoke, I believe. I think the provoke would still technically be on when he gets hit. You know what I mean? It sounds like there's potential for him to continuously provoke someone, lock them in this state of being provoked. Wow, yeah, that's pretty cool. That's really cool. So, chance to extend debuffs on anybody that hits him while he's got reflect damage up. And this can be on a 3-turn cooldown. So he's going to rarely be without reflect damage. So he's reflecting damage, he's extending debuffs on anybody that hits him, and he's potentially extending the provoke. That is really cool. That seems like a big problem for arena defense. Seems like that would really be useful in arena defense or arena in general, right? You could take him into arena and use him as a way to potentially shift the focus off of maybe your squishier damage dealing champs. With stats like that, he's going to be really easy to scale up. So super cool champ. I really like the new mechanics, some of the new mechanics that are making their way into the game. And then the last of the rare dwarves we have is Runic Order, who also looks really cool, man. I really dig the dwarf skins. I think they're really doing a great job on those. So he's also an HP champ, same base HP. Attack is also pretty low. Defense over 900, and then speed is 103. So he's got a little more speed. Let's take a look at his skills and see what he has going on. So first skill is a 2-hitter, nothing, but he does scale on HP. That's worth noting. He's a 2-hitter that scales on HP. Second skill, attacks 1 enemy 2 times. Has a 30% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack debuff for 2 turns. Also scales on HP. So we've got two 2-hitter skills, and one of them breaks attack. So we're looking at probably some Fire Knight utility, but also kind of widespread dungeon utility if you wanted to use him, because the break attack is pretty handy. So let's see what his third skill has going on. Places a 15% reflect damage buff and a 7.5 continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns. So paired up with stoutaxman, you've got yourself quite a little duo here. 2 very tanky champs. One that does damage scaling on HP. He can kind of help keep the reflect damage up on stoutaxman a little bit longer, I would think, if used properly. And also the continuous heals. Not to mention stoutaxman heals himself if he has reflect damage up when he gets hit. So he's going to be taking very little damage when he has that up. And he's got an attack break. So you can basically just about totally negate the damage that the enemy can do to you or can do to stoutaxman anyway, paired up, just these two champs together. So really, really cool little champ. I would say useful in Fire Knight. Pretty useful in Fire Knight. He's got 2 multi-hitters. He's got an attack break, and then he's got a decent full team buff. Reflect damage and continuous heal for the whole team. So I think he's got a little bit of Fire Knight utility. I do still think he has good arena utility, especially in conjunction with stoutaxman. And yeah, pretty cool little skill. Pretty cool little champ, I should say. Let's move up to the epics. Why aren't there borders? Oh, because they're gray. I don't have them. All right, we have 2 new ones. We have Sargent and Fellhammer. All right, let's look at Sargent first. Oh, here we go. All right, I dig it. Hell yeah. All right. Defense champ. Cool. Glad it's not another attack champ. 97 speed, so yeah, pretty across the board. 1211, 1211 on the defense. That's pretty nice. And then the HP is also really nice. We're basically sitting at 18.5 on the defense. So let's see what we have here. Attacks one enemy, has a 40% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense. All right, you know, if you've seen any of my videos, you know what a big fan I am of a first turn defense break. That there's automatic utility basically everywhere in the game on a champion that has first turn defense break, because defense break is going to be really crucial to have up in your dungeons. It's crucial for arena. It's crucial basically everywhere you want to go in the game. It's going to be important. And she has a 40% chance, a 50% chance skilled up, 50% chance on the first skill of placing a 60% defense break. That might be the best first turn defense break in the game. I'm not 100% on that, but I don't recall seeing anybody that has a 50% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense break on their first skill in this game. She might be the new best first turn defense breaker. So already straight out of the gate, this is looking amazing. She's looking like she's going to be really, really good. We'll see what else she's got going on. And her damage scales off defense. This is great. This is looking really good. Her second skill is an AoE. 50% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack debuff for 2 turns. Heals this champion by 25% of the damage inflicted. Damage based on defense. Skilled up, that's a 75% chance. So we've got an AoE 50% attack break on a 3-turn cooldown skilled up. That heals her by 25% of the damage inflicted, and she's a defense champ, so she's already going to be real tanky. And that defense break on the first skill. Third skill places a 50% ally protection buff and a 15% continuous heal buff on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. Wow. And then a little bit of an affinity selfish lead there, but still, she is really good. I would be really interested to know what the multipliers are on her skills, like what kind of damage output she's going to have. But as far as a kit goes, this is top notch. She is one of the better epics in the game, in my opinion. I mean, we're looking at a 3-turn cooldown on this, and a first turn, a very solid, probably very reliable first turn defense break, 60% defense break. I think she's probably one of the better epics in the game, if I'm going to be honest. I wonder if they'll leave her this good, because that's pretty damn good. She is a pretty damn solid champion. You can basically use her anywhere. She's going to be useful in spiders because of the defense break. She's going to help your team do more damage to the spider. And every 3 turns, she's going to come around with this big AoE. That's also going to attack break anybody she doesn't kill. She's going to do a good job of keeping continuous heals stacked on the team. She's got ally protection to absorb some of the damage from the rest of the team. And anybody else that's on the team, if you know, there's probably a better leader skill to use. But yeah, very, very, very solid champ. Very solid champ. She is on my list of champs I'm on the lookout for. And then we've got Berdal Bellhammer, who you know, he's a little fatty, but what are you gonna do? Does look very cool though. He is an attack champ. 94 speed, little on the low side, not the end of the world. Basically sitting at 1400 attack, and his HP is really, really good for an attack champ. Really good, over 18,000. Let's see what he's got here. Attacks one enemy 2 times. There's a 30% chance of placing a 100% heal reduction debuff for 2 turns. So Spirit Keep, right out of the gate, he's going to have some utility in Spirit Keep. But we want a little bit more out of an epic champ. Second skill, attacks one enemy 3 times. Places a shield buff on this champion equal to 30% of the damage inflicted for 3 turns. Okay, that's cool. It's a cool skill. I don't know if the multiplier is really good and he does a ton of damage. Maybe on a boss. It's cool. What's the cooldown on it? 3 turn? Okay. He's got a passive. Places a counterattack buff on this champion for 1 turn at the start of each round. Places a counterattack buff on this champion for 1 turn at the end of their turn. So, unless you strip it, he's got permanent counterattack. Okay. They did set it up in a way where you can strip it or block it, though. It's not, his passive is not just always counterattacks. So it is you can counter this. You can strip it or you can block it. Or stun him or freeze him or whatever. But it is very cool. I don't think I've seen anything like that before in this game. And then his attack in dungeons is 32%. So he's always going to counterattack, and he's got a heal block on his first skill. I mean, really, honestly, all I'm really seeing here is Spirit Keep. Heal reduction, I mean, and it could throw a wrench in the plans in Arena if you wanted to use him for specific situations. It could certainly throw a wrench in people's plans with the heal block. And the shield might help him stay alive. I mean, he does have good base HP. I'm wondering what would be more beneficial, though, if he's going to be doing enough damage for that to be the way to go, or if maybe it would have been better if they had gone, like, 30% of his max HP or something like that. That would be a pretty substantial shield, but I guess it'll depend on what the multiplier is and what kind of damage he's able to do. But regardless, he has solid utility in Spirit Keep, and then, you know, I think you could probably play around with him a little bit in an arena in some specific situations if you wanted to, but, yeah, pretty interesting. And last, we have a barely dressed... She thick. That's all I'm going to say about it. She thick. Guilt Mallet. Sharonda Guilt Mallet. She's a legendary attack champ. I gotta say, the skin is super dope, and I'm digging the hell out of that hammer. That hammer is really, really cool. Really like the skin. As far as her stats, we have 100 speed, which is nice. Her defense is 980, which is pretty deadgum good for an attack champ. Her attack is 1608. Is there a base attack higher in the game? I don't know off the top of my head. That might be the highest. It's among the highest, if it's not the highest. And then her base HP is 22,800. So she is, statistically speaking, she's a monster. She is an absolute monster. Holy cow. Wow. Alright, let's see what she's got. Magic ally attack in all battles, 36%. Okay. Alright, let's look at her actual skills. First skill, attacks one enemy 2 times. It's a 50% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn after the second hit. Okay. Oh, there's a cool guy out there. So first turn stun. That could be nice in PvP. And that's really about it, honestly. But it is a 2-hitter, so potentially some Fire Knight utility here. Let's see what her second skill has. Second skill, attacks one enemy, then attacks all other enemies with a second hit, dealing 60% of the damage inflicted from the first hit. Okay, that's cool. So it's an AoE, but in steps. You hit one enemy 1 time, and then everybody else gets hit 1 time, and it's 60% of the damage from the first hit. Now, with such high base attack, and her being a legendary, I have to assume her multipliers are going to be pretty substantial, which means that the damage output from the skill is probably going to be noticeably high. So 60% of that damage AoE may be pretty good, because I don't know how they're focusing the multiplier, but technically the first attack itself is a single hit. So I don't know if they're going to give it single hit multiplier and then it's going to do 60% of that, or if they have nerfed the multiplier a little bit because there is that AoE coming after it. But there's potential for a really high damage output off of this skill. So pretty cool, pretty cool. Third skill. Attacks all enemies. 70% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. Places HP burn for 2 turns on enemies under stun debuffs. Places an extra hit on enemies not under stun debuffs. Okay, so anybody that's already stunned gets an HP burn on top of the heavy damage. Anybody that is not stunned gets hit again. And again, this is a 3rd skill on a legendary champ with very high base attack. So if her multipliers are up to par, we're talking some pretty heavy damage here. Pretty heavy damage here. And then the passive is, let's see what the passive is. This champion's resistance increases by 10 for each stun debuff this champion places on enemies. Stacks across each round in a battle up to 100. This champion's speed increases by 5 for each enemy currently under an HP burn debuff. Only counts active HP burn debuffs. Stacks up to 15. Okay, so the speed is not permanent, at least permanent in relevance to the battle. The resistance is. So in spiders, her resistance is going to shoot up pretty quickly, I would imagine, and there's potential for the speed to shoot up as well. So I think there might be some usage there. I don't know how much I care about her resistance going up, to be honest. I mean, resistance, you know, yeah, it's useful and everything, but rarely are you hard focusing it. It's kind of a byproduct of whatever other gear you put on someone. But either way, it's cool. She's very interesting, and I am excited to know what kind of damage output she has. I'm really interested to see her. So if any of you guys have pulled her and you're using her, let me know in the comments what kind of damage you're getting out of her, because my assumption would be that she is gonna bang. Like 1600 base attack is crazy. And I have to assume the multipliers are up there because she's a legendary. So if you guys have her, anybody has her, let me know. Let me know what kind of damage you're getting out of her and where you're getting usage. I think there's some interesting potential for Spider, but I think Arena is probably going to be fun. And yeah, probably Arena. And maybe some other dungeons, maybe something like Dragons, depending on her damage output. But yeah. Pretty cool. Not a bad addition to the game, and the Dwarf faction is actually starting to get some depth to it now. So, you know, they're doing a good job. They're doing a good job. As you can see, I don't have very many Dwarves. But, all right, that's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You know, I was going to pop in and take a look at these new champs anyway, so I thought it might be fun if we did it together. So hopefully you got a kick out of it. Maybe you got some interesting insight for some of the champs, or maybe you haven't had a chance to look either, and this was your first look at them too. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you know, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, turn on notifications, and maybe I'll put your name up on the screen like I'm doing for I'm Ran. Thank you for turning on notifications and all that stuff. You are a real G now. And I don't know. Everybody have a good one. I'll catch you in the next video.